From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I'm Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you into this Thursday's edition of For the People on December the 7th, 2017. Glad you tuned in today. Sometimes I have to kind of give you a bird's eye view into my soul. I know that's deep and perhaps maybe even a little profound, but honesty is hard to come by these days. And, you know, it's been a struggle, honestly, from time to time to do this broadcast, just due to the mere fact of the unpredictability of support and how it comes and when it comes. And it's been very difficult somehow to garnish support, and trying to put my finger on it. You know, I have Facebook, obviously. A lot of people follow us. I mean, you know, thousands across the country, you know, either on Keith Allen or on For the People show. And anyway, from time to time, I will write something in about some news story, and people, you know, will like it or they'll comment about it, you know, just kind of the basic things. But whenever I post something like, see if I can pull it up, should be coming up momentarily. Oh, there it is. And this is on For the People on Facebook, For the People show. So let me just open it up because it's a little bit longer than the usual post. And I say, why is this so difficult? I am frustrated and saddened that no matter what I do with the show, the support is not coming in. We know we have thousands that listen daily to both hours from across the country, and it's concerning for the future of the show. Now, I have a handful of faithful supporters that give $1 a month and more, and it helps, but it's not enough to pay our internet or anything else. I have spent savings to build all of this, and I hope every day that I make a difference with my show. Can you help? So it's something that, you know, we've mentioned. We run PSAs, and I want to do an experiment, and a little experiment. What is the experiment? Do you have $1? Just a measly $1 bill, just $1, and I just want to see how many people have $1 and can give $1, just $1. That's all I ask today. And just today only, and tomorrow I will let you know how many dollars we've garnished in support of the broadcast. Now, if for whatever reason, if you're emptying out your piggy bank and there's more than $1 and you want to give $1.25 or $1.50 and so forth, that's great. But anyway, I just was kind of doing some thinking about this broadcast, and I got to tell you, it's been miraculous. It's been a very unbelievable trip thus far in, and what a legacy For the People has been on the radio dial for decades, literally decades. And it's been a very tough juggling act to be able to fit all this scheduling in, 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day or more show prep. And that's just something that talk show hosts do when you love it, and that's what you do for a living. And I don't do this for a living. I do other things to make a living because I don't get a paycheck from this. So I just want to make that very clear when we say listener supported For the People, and we come at you. And we have a big show lined up for you, and we're going to get into all of the stuff of the day today. A lot of news happening around the world and right here in our country, and we'll get into those things with our daily infusion of common sense. But from time to time, I have to mention this show and its heritage. I took over the show 3 years ago, and Chuck Harder was one of the most listened to on-air personalities in America. And Chuck just simply got sick And those that know Chuck and the UAW story and all that other stuff, the network, caved in, and Chuck never really returned to prominence any longer. However, he was a brilliant talk show host, and to fill his shoes has been enormous. Never thought I could ever take over, quote unquote, for the man that sees tomorrow and his gifted brain. A very sharp guy, very inquisitive, and very polarizing. I mean, he was very captivating. I could listen to him for his entire 3-hour show and thought it just came on. I mean, that's how good he was. Bruce Williams was another one that I really liked listening to over TalkNet. And a few really have that type of appeal where they can really, honest to goodness, keep your attention rather than just shutting it off because you really can't stand their personality, can't stand their voice, can't stand what they're talking about, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a treasure when you're able to find somebody that it resonates with you. It speaks to you, and you reach out for it, look for it. And we know that there are thousands of people across the country that reach out for this show daily. They listen to it via podcast, and we're on radio stations across the country. We're not as on many as we would hope, but we're on about 8 to 10 radio stations, big ones, 50,000 watt stations in Memphis, 10,000 watt stations, little stations here and there. But we're in Kansas City, Missouri, which is great. We're out in Phoenix, Arizona, Memphis, Tennessee, Ocala, Florida, and Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and a few other markets. And it's been growing, and it started out as a mere podcast, and it's grown to FM and AM radio stations across the country without Chuck, and it's been terrific. I just think that the model's changed a little bit for listener-supported, unless it's music-oriented, with Christian radio, or it's a missions trip or something like that. It's just been very challenging, I guess you could say, to be able to get people to give even $1. And that's why I say today is $1 challenge. If you can give $1, if you listen to the show, give $1 and let me know you're listening and that you like the show. If it resonates with you, give $1 at forthepeopleshow.com. Tomorrow I'll let you know how much we raised, but starting right now, forthepeopleshow.com, make that $1 donation. And let me know that you like listening to the radio show. Appreciate you very, very, very much. All right, Chris Matthews on MSNBC. I don't like his show. I don't watch his show. He's leftist as can be, and apparently could care less about evangelical Christians. So if you're one of those, if you're a Christian, you better just... your blood pressure is probably going to cook up a little bit. But Chris Matthews, he's done this before. But he's upset now about Christians and their crazy ideas about Israel. He's basically saying that they hold mythical beliefs about the country, and they don't understand how tricky the cultural intricacies are. As if Chris Matthews is a Middle East correspondent. As if Chris Matthews actually is in Middle East studies. As if Chris Matthews is on some think tank on how to bring peace to the Middle East. He's none of these things. None of those things at all. He's a low-rated talk show host on MSNBC with a big mouth. And a big mouth, putting his foot in his mouth. It's almost like saying with Hillary Clinton with the deplorables. All right, you got tens of millions of Christians, okay? And he's saying that basically you're crazy about Israel. Now, Matthew's his performance and his remarks were during the Morning Joe segment yesterday by saying President Donald Trump recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital is related to the controversial U.S. Senate candidacy of Alabama Republican Roy Moore and the upcoming elections there. So he couldn't contain himself to equate Roy Moore with the capital of Israel. But hold on for a second. Why would he do that? Why would he say that? Well, that's what the left's play is going to be. That's what the left is gearing up to today for, because Al Franken at 11:45 Eastern today is going to come on the news channels, and he's going to resign. I believe if he doesn't, he'd be crazy. Everybody thinks he's going to resign. If he doesn't, then he's got some cojones. At least he thinks he does. But what they're going to do is they're going to let Franken go. There's the call for his dismissal, step down, resignation, get out of there. They're going to go after Donald Trump, anybody to the right that supports Judge Roy Moore. Because the left is basically saying, hey, we took care of our problems, now you take care of yours. Trump's got a problem on his hands. He's going to have a problem on his hands. That's going to be the left, and so that's why they're attacking right now, the Christians and the whole Roy Moore deal because of the evangelicals in Alabama. So it's all Christians, whether you like Roy Moore, voting for Roy Moore, the Christians, as if all the Christians are in Alabama, by the way. The last I checked, there was many in Florida, a whole lot of them, actually. How many practicing? I don't know. Listen, you could say that about a lot of religions. So, it's not just Christianity. Look, it happened in Jesus' time, Anyways, this is the mindset of the left. You're crazy. You're a nut. By the way, if you knew something about Jerusalem's history, it's always been the Jews. And now, basically, his hot idea is to be able to carve up Jerusalem and give it to the Palestinians. Oh, yeah. He said, you know what, give them Eastern Jerusalem. He says, but you know what, don't just give them Eastern Jerusalem, the Palestinians. Give them all of Jerusalem. Then peace will come. Oh, so you understand how peaceful the Palestinians are, because right now, with Hamas, they're saying we're going to go and we're going to attack Israel. And by the way, it's been operating like this already. It's just finally we have a president that actually is going to stand behind Israel, stand with Israel, side by side. Yeah, Obama stood behind, but we're walking with Israel. And to see the symbolic imagery on the old wall of the city, the old Jerusalem wall, to see the American flag that was beamed along with the Israeli flag side by side, saw such a unbelievable emotional response to everyone there in Israel that just loves their country. And finally, we have an administration that stands by Israel's side. Palestine is a mess. As long as Hamas is being funded by Iran, who Iran is the one that chants death to Israel, they make no qualms of where they get their money from. These people are seeded with hate. They hate the Jews. And why should the Jews give up their land? Well, they don't even have much land to begin with. Whose land is it is? This land is your land. This is not the United States of America. Remember, one state in our union, New Jersey, is the size of Israel. And they're supposed to concede all of Israel, according to Chris Matthews? All of Jerusalem, rather, the city of Jerusalem. Let's give them the whole thing. They already control the Golan Heights. The Palestinians do, rather. So we'll just give them everything. Not a chance to compromise more of their security, get more of their citizens killed. Just like our sanctuary cities. Yeah, we got a nice house, Chris Matthews, for you there in San Francisco. Got a nice place for you. It's amazing how he can sit there in his chair from New York, in a cozy chair, getting a really lofty salary when the dismal numbers come in at MSNBC, just as deplorable as the fake news network, and give commentary on how crazy Christians are. and how delusional we are.